It's Brian Preston, the money guy.
Jordan is a new listener, so welcome to the live stream, Jordan. He's on step 4 of the FOO. I have FOMO on the market discount that's happening right now, quote unquote, but I do not have a full 3 to 6 month emergency fund saved yet. I will have a lump sum in December. Should I pause saving my emergency fund to max out my Roth right now?
Oh man, that one's so hard.
But I don't think it's so hard. I think it's
so hard.
Well, but here's the thing.
You say your answer. I'm going to say what my answer is.
I think it's one of those things. Look, we already built into the financial order of operations. Step 2 is getting all that free money from your employer because it's got that matching money, which could be a 50% to 100% guaranteed rate of return. We already got that built in. What I always worry about, this is a risk assessment thing. You know, when you get to step 4, that's your emergency reserves. That's 3 to 6 months. Because, by the way, the market valuations are they feel better now because there's a lot of uncertainty in the air. I mean, it's easy to say the market's down, but also unemployment looks like it. I mean, if you're in the technology field, you know what we're talking about right now. There's a lot of, typically in industries that are fast growing. We haven't seen this since really .com, where the tech industry is kind of having to do a purge, and it's scary. I mean, so that's why these things all come together. Remember, they're all extroverts, so they're all hanging out. So the emergency reserves is the rainy day fund that gets you through. It's your all-weather package to make sure you get through whatever life throws at you. And here's where, this will probably set it up for you. I don't want somebody getting so focused on the minutia, because this is such in a month from now, it sounds like this will fix itself because a lump sum or some type of bonus or something coming your way. Do I think the market is going to return so much in a month that it will forever be detrimental to your life? That part is just a bridge too far. I'd rather you train your mind on where the next dollar should go for maximizing as well as preventing risks that could really derail your financial life, and focus on that. Focus on the basics and core things that you can do versus trying to time what, especially when this fixes itself in just a few weeks anyway.
I like that answer a lot. I had not thought about that angle. If it's got a big bonus coming in December, okay, well, maybe just max out the Roth in December. The big question I'd ask you, Jordan, is you said I haven't quite gotten my 3 to 6 months. Well, how close are you? Because this is where I'm a little younger, a little more aggressive, a little bit more of a risk appetite here.
Bo's playing horseshoes over here.
If your goal is,
with grenades, by the way.
If your goal is 6-month emergency reserve and you're already at 4 months, and we know that a bonus is coming in December, I don't think it's crazy to think, okay, I've got some months of emergency reserve. Maybe I go ahead and do my Roth right now because I know that the market is down right now. I agree with you, Brian. It's probably not going to recover in the next month so much that it's going to be life-changing. However, we do know that on average in a bear market, in the first month of recovery, market makes about 14%. So given the opportunity to get some Roth dollars in there, 14% lower than next month, maybe that makes sense, assuming I want you to have a decent emergency reserve built up, even if it's not the full emergency reserve. I want to make sure you have a healthy income, so like there's a little bit of slack in your system if things did have to get tight, and you have to promise yourself in December when that bonus hits, you're going to true it up. I'd have to know the answer to those questions to be able to give an answer. I don't think that we disagree all that much.
But it is one. I think this is a good experience share, and the fact that sometimes wisdom comes from experience.
Oh yeah,
seriously, this is not to pick
now
on you, because it's just, I'm telling you, and I want Jordan to hear this. I want all of our listeners to hear this. I have been in the situation where I was all maximization all the time because I just couldn't stand what the opportunity of dollars could become. But then I've seen when the music has stopped. And I never forget when I didn't have that cash reserves. But I had that big home equity line, and that bank sent that letter saying it's frozen. You don't have access. And I've shared with you guys, I prayed to God, if you will get me through this, I will never, ever, ever, ever do this to my family again, because we all think we're all about optimization, until you realize, oh my gosh, I can't even pay the mortgage. I can't pay my people. I can't pay this. You're calling. Because what was funny during that, not funny, because it's funny like you're crying. If you're not laughing, you're crying, is that you're going through and you're like, okay, we're cutting the cable bill, We're cutting the landscapers. We're cutting this. Okay, we're trimming down our cell phone pack. I mean, you are literally, and Bo knows because he picked on me last week about this. He goes, well, I haven't gotten to the point yet because I told him, because we worked together during that 2008. I was like, look, I own 3/4 of an acre. I bet I could put corn.
Probably grow some corn.
I could grow some corn on that backyard, and I'd probably be able to feed my family for a little bit.
Could you see Farmer Brian and Farmer Bell
y'all
out there?
don't know how bad it gets when things are that capitulation comes with an emotional price typically.
Sure.
I mean, this stuff has to happen, unfortunately. So I'm just trying to protect you, because I love the Financial Mutants get so excited about the world and the opportunity. But you got to make sure it's back to that oxygen. You know, we all take for granted the oxygen we're breathing until you go underwater. And then you're like, you're swimming the swimming pool and your friend dares you to try to say, can you go all 40 feet without coming up for air? And you're like, and then you're like, I think I'm going to make it. But man, I hope I don't pass out. I don't want you to have, it's fun to play those games. But when it comes to your family is relying on you to be able to navigate whatever comes your way, respect the cash. I mean, that's what somebody posted a comment on our last show when we were talking about high yield savings. They're like, bad take. You guys, how could you talk? Inflation's eating cash alive right now. You guys should not be talking about having cash. I'm like, there's a person that has not had that prayer that I've had, where I respect cash, and that's what. But we even talk about it in the business,
Absolutely,
because you do run it tight. I mean, but you know why you run it tight? Because you know old man Brian over here has got all kind of reserves left and right. Because I've been here, done that, and I'm going to make sure I've got enough cash, not only to get us through. But I like having cash so that when all the people who are out there taking air and the oxygen we breathe for granted, when it goes away, man, all of a sudden, all of us that have been storing oxygen in the background, meaning cash reserves, things look a lot cheaper. I mean, seriously.
You can drop the mic. I get it. I'm gonna see
Honestly,
this one.
That was a very good and balanced answer between the two of you for Jordan.
Well, I've been there.
That was
I've been a
helpful.
maximizer, but I've also been like, Lord, get me to when I have cash.
Yeah. Like,
because
Bo has
I will
a
never
point,
do this
but you
again.
can't run it lean.
You can't run it lean. That's why
That's
I said your emergency reserves has to be. You have to be somewhat inoculated. If you're like at 1 month emergency reserve, that's not really an emergency reserve.
Yeah.
People
You can't
run a
play
lot
with it.
leaner than I'm always like, man, you are not risk assessing your life if you're willing to run it that lean.
Did you know that 60% of Americans right now couldn't come up with $1,000 for an emergency?
Yeah. There's a
That's
reason.
scary.
There's a reason that typical American is not a financial mutant.
Yep.